Congratulations. Lots of crazy things happen behind the scenes. EV Mux does bonkers stuff whenever it wants to, right out of the blue. But I'm glad you're all here. We have an incredible show for you, a wonderful guest, somebody that I have been wanting on for quite some time. And I'm grateful that they managed to get up very early in the morning. Oops. To actually visit with us today. So, somebody that I think is amazing in the space, a wonderful channel with a particular podcast that I enjoy, whether I'm on there as a guest or I'm on there as, or just watching, I guess. We're going to be talking with Mephisto's movie reviews, and the podcast I'm talking about is the Real McCoys, where he shares time with my feelings to break down film in a completely different way and interspersing a few things here and there when it comes to trivia and behind the scenes and just really some great stuff about films that you didn't actually know. And with that being said and considered, let's jump right into the show, shall we? Let's introduce Mephisto's movie reviews. Hey, Mephisto, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. Am I coming in clear? No.
You sound
no echoes?
you sound spectacular, my friend. Thanks for
Great.
being here.
Awesome.
I really,
Thank you.
truly appreciate it. Now, you want to tell people a little bit about yourself and a little bit more about your shows and what you work on your channel.
Sure. We can disperse the movie reviews aside for a minute. That's the name of the channel. Just call me Mephisto or Meph or Meffy or whatever you want to call. It's all good. I do movie reviews on my channel. Used to be a little bit all over the place, but now sort of in the last year, kind of focused it to just doing movie reviews. And this is movie reviews that are either new movies that have recently came out or reviews of movies from the past, going back to some of them are like recent past, 2022, or some of them are distant past. Like the farthest one, I think of like 1977, and I'm gonna go a little bit further every once in a while, just to have fun with it. And the purpose of my channel and the purpose of the show is to get people to check out new and older movies. So all of my reviews are spoiler free as much as humanly possible. So I do give a little bit of a synopsis about the movie, even though it could be like 40 years old, 30 years old, or that sort of a thing, and let you explore it for yourself. Because believe it or not, there are some people out there that have never seen movies that you and I, or some of the people in chat, would consider like classics, like Die Hard, or I don't know, Uncle Buck, or just random movies that you would not believe. Like, people haven't seen Die Hard. Yeah, there are some people out there that have never seen Die Hard, so they might encounter the review somewhere somehow on the impressions just gave it to them, and they're like, "Oh, that's interesting." And on the Real McCoy podcast, I call it a podcast sort of by half default, but it's really a show. You've been on the show a few times recently with Showgirls, and the whole purpose is, again, sort of like a book club, but with movies. And apart from the actual diving into a movie, kind of dissecting it, talking about it, and getting into the behind the scenes stuff, is breaking that monotony with some games. Just fun little games. They don't take too long, and they just a little bit of trivia and a little bit of fun to go with it. So we'll have, a little bit of levity along with some maybe serious topics, depending on the movie. If it's like a serious hard topic, then it could be a nice little levity to go with that. It's just to have fun and not just be bogged down with, oh, it's a podcast, so we're talking about the podcast things. And I'm sorry if my voice is a little bit shot because it is 2:30 a.m.
Right, and that was something I wanted everybody to know. You got up extra early to something in the morning your time, which I appreciate, and I'm glad you were able to join us. I think it's extraordinary that you did. So thank you very much, my friend.
Oh, thank you for having me,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
It's always a pleasure. I've talked to you backstage,
Mhm.
not today, but in the past, and I told you it's I will do the extra effort for other people
Sure.
because I actually want to talk to people.
Yeah.
One of the greatest things that happened to me, because I'm 45 years old and I've been a nerd my whole life, and I'm surrounded with a lot of people in my country that nerd culture is not really the dominant culture. However, once I went into some guy's gaming channel, a YouTube gaming channel, specifically on World of Warcraft, a game that I was addicted to for a long time, and he decided to do a meetup before I've ever heard anybody on the YouTube space ever do a meetup. And once I got there, I found out, yeah, we're all over the place. He was from the UK, so and I'm close to Europe. So a lot of my friends playing World of Warcraft are from Europe, Holland, Denmark, Norway, Spain, and we're all coming together to this place. And suddenly, all the inhibitions, all the stuff that kept me from being outgoing came out. And that was the big realization. And I thought, yeah, I want to talk to people. I want to reach out and, like, we can talk about nerd stuff, but we can talk about other stuff, real
Yeah.
life. And I kept going back to the meetups, which were every year, not to talk to the person, to meet the person, is actually meet with
Everybody else.
the people in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's truly amazing. And when you go, it's very much an uplifting experience if you do make it to a meetup. I highly recommend them to anyone that's just interested in meeting unique people that are in your same wheelhouse. So, yeah, you just kind of explored that really well. Let's say hi to some folks like Ruby Hoove, who gifted a Culture Casino membership. Thank you, Ruby Hoove. I appreciate it. And the lovely Sherry, who's out there as well. Our buddy Nick from Echo Base Network was the recipient of that membership. That's amazing. Ampersand M is out there. The woodiest stream this side of FNT. That's right, the wooliest. That's true. We've got Carlos Alfredo Lopez out there. Barton Bella, good to see you. We've got Ruby Hugh just saying hi. We got Brian McCann out there. What's up, Brian? Argentum, greetings, dear. Hope you're doing well. Carlos Alfredo Lopez is over here. We got Low Spec Linux Gaming in the house. We've got Mass Grave. And let's see, Tom F. Tom F is out there. I think I said hi to Sherry. If not, hello, Sherry. Lombardi's out here. Over once again. Greetings, Putin's cat. That's right, Putin's cat is here. Yeah, he's not doing future releases. We got Ruby Hoove for $2 saying we'll be listening. Have a great one. Thank you, Ruby Hoove. I hope you're doing good. Did not see you this morning, I don't think, but I did see Hoove. I hope you guys are doing great over there. Let's see. We've got Trinoculus P out there. There's 1951's Christmas Carol with Alistair. Yep. And we've got 11 Alpha, Brady Blummer, Con Lives, John, the Beagle Dad, and David D. My congrats. My congressi, ate too much White Castle. Now his room smells like, farts and onions. That's funny. That's funny as heck. Crimlon's in the house. Good to see you. And our favorite polar bear as well, Snortopoopas Cuber. So welcome everybody. All right, we need to actually jump into the first three questions. Do you think you're ready for those, Mr. Mephisto?
Oh yeah, for sure. For
All
sure.
right. Well, here's the first three. Here we go. This game is I ask you a question that you already know what it is. So it's not like I'm ambushing you or anything like that. It's just a wonderful plain conversation, something that, you hopefully love or enjoy. So the first question is this. What is your favorite TV show of all time?
Now, I thought about it for a very long time, and there are some TV shows that I go back to that I can watch again and again and again, and it wouldn't bother me. So it's really hard to pick the one. But strong candidates were Friends, which I know a lot of people in the chat don't enjoy, and I don't really care. Seinfeld, Married with Children. So technically three sitcoms. One of them is not really a sitcom, but three sitcoms that I enjoy. However, my favorite TV show of all time is Star Trek: The Next Generation. With a close second, Babylon 5.
Wow.
But just the TV show. I don't particularly like the TV movies.
Interesting. So you didn't like? Did you like the? Well, for in the case of Star Trek, were you a Star Trek fan because of the films? Were you a Star Trek fan because of the shows?
The way I consumed TNG was pretty weird because I started off. So I got Star Wars first, then I got the Star Trek movies, up to 4, I think, and then my parents, or maybe even 5. My parents got me a VHS tape of The Next Generation, which was basically the Farpoint Station pilot, which was two episodes, which, if you put them together, they're basically a movie, but there's sort of a TV movie. And that's how I got introduced to TNG. I didn't know there was a full series because I was young and I was from a different country and we didn't know anything about syndication or anything like that. Or at least I didn't know. Around, I think it was 91, it started to come on. I don't remember if it was like Thursdays or Fridays or some other off day. And it came on. It was like, oh, there's a continuation. Nice. I would like to continue because by that time I saw the original series. Again, I think some of them were on like bootleg VHS tapes. It wasn't on TV. We got like Battlestar Galactica on TV, the old series, but not the original Star Trek series. Yeah, but once we got like cable in my country, then all of those shows started to pour in
because of syndication. So yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. All right. Well, very good. All right. So we pinned down television. Let's real quickly say thank you to the Wild Man of Yavin for 2 Culture Casino cash for the show, saying, "Whoa, Culture on a Friday night. How are you tonight? I'm great. This is Mephisto. Thank you for the $2 super chat." And yeah, I actually do this show or try to do the show very regularly on Friday nights. It just seems to be more like every other Friday or every third Friday. This was 3 weeks in the making, so I have to apologize for Mephisto, but I'm glad he is up early in the morning. So, but
Last time it was you that had the
oh, it
issue.
was me. It was
I
me.
was
Yeah.
ready to go.
Yeah, it's fine. All right. Well, let's get to the second question here. And this one is easy as well, I think, anyway. Um, what film is your go to when you're like troubled, homesick, or homesick?
I had to think about that because my favorite movie of all time is not necessarily this movie.
Right.
Um, when I'm homesick, I I really don't have an answer.
That's
It's
fair.
weird because it's like I said, I am from a different culture, but most of my movie experience is from the US. Some of it's from the UK, but very little. Most of it is from the US. So when I see an American film that has to do with going back home or the good old home or coming home, all that stuff, it really doesn't affect me in that particular way. I get the theme of it. I get emotional, but that's what movies are supposed to do, to make you emotional about specific things. I really don't have a movie that I can watch and say, I want to be back home. There,
Hmm.
there are none.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Not,
just,
not even like local movies here. None of them
yeah.
make me homesick.
Well, and that's the thing is like I'm always asking people because I'm like, okay, what's your comfort film? What's the thing that brings you back to
Oh,
sanity or whatever?
that's a different film altogether.
Hmm.
I would definitely say Good Will Hunting.
Oh well, wow. Okay, very good.
It's a very grounding film because most of the stuff that I like about it
Hmm.
is not the Will Hunting story, although I do like it. But the stuff that the moments that I like in the film the most are the Robin Williams moments. It's a lot of insight towards life in general, and the get off your get off your ass, you're too young kind of moments. And now that I'm old enough, a lot of the if you remember, there are two major like big emotional dumps. One of them is when it's at the end when Will is crying and Robin tells him, "Well, it's not your fault. You're a foster kid. You got hit. It's not your fault." And they have that sort of catharsis. But that's the end. The moment it actually started is where they're sitting out in the park, not in the office, and he's telling him the difference between the academics and real life. Not really that way, but it's sort of like you can tell me all about Michelangelo, but you haven't stood in the Sistine Chapel looking up and smelling the room, looking at the beautiful paintings because you only saw them in a book. So that's sort of that difference between the two. It's very powerful, a very powerful speech, one of the all-time great speeches in movies. And yeah, if I wanna feel good, that's a movie that I would probably go to, along with my favorite movie of all time, which is Shawshank Redemption, which is all about hope.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well,
And
goodness.
I've actually incorporated that into my channel where I try to end every single review and every single show with the message of hope. It's something that you aspire to, not necessarily something you can grab and say, "I got it."
That's a really good thing and a great inspiration. That's a great idea. Well done. And your selection of films is incredible.
Hmm.
All right, so we had one more question to get to. And this one's always tough for people, and some people misunderstand it, so I have to restate it again. But with this one, it's not the best film; it's the best film experience. What is the best film experience you've ever had? And and why? Because for a lot of people, it could be because of the company, it could be because of the location, it could be because of the day. What was your best film experience?
I kind of have two, and oddly enough, uh, the company I was with was basically the same company. So when I was 14, 15, 16, 17, sort of that late teens, I had a best friend who was really into movies just like I was. So every couple of weeks, every 3 weeks, we would have gone to the movies and watched a movie. And sometimes we would do a back to back, sort of like we would have said, okay, there's like two releases. One of them is not we know is not the best. So we're going to see the good one first, and then we're going to see the lesser one second. So we got to see a lot of movies. One of those experiences was with him going to see Star Wars A New Hope, or as I like to call it, Star Wars, on the remaster release, sitting at the best place where it was. So you know that every big theater, not the smaller ones, every big theater has a place right in the middle where all the different sounds come in. Now, if you can pinpoint that exact spot, you're going to have the best sound experience of your life. We got to buy tickets to that specific spot because we went to to a specific theater all the time, and it was a massive one. So it's like 300 people, I think. And we managed to pinpoint the best sounding spot and watch that movie. That was the first experience. The second one was an outdoor showing of the Big Lebowski, one of my favorite movies of all time, at a large screen, sitting on the grass, sort of like having a picnic. So it was me with my wife, which I think she was my girlfriend at the time, and my best friend with his girlfriend at the time. Sitting out, we bought, I think we bought sandwiches, not made sandwiches, because we were 22, right out of the army, 23. Um, and sat around and enjoyed. I enjoyed the movie so much. My wife doesn't really technically like The Big Lebowski that much, not as much as me. But yeah, it was outdoors. It was March or April, so it was pretty cool at night, relatively speaking, sort of just like now, and just an enjoyable movie experience, which was, I think that's what you were looking for. The experience itself was sort of enhancing the movie. You enjoyed the movie, but you sort of had that enhanced experience. And we were not alone. There was like a ton of people there, more than 300 for sure.
Those are always wonderful, like the picnic in the park or, pops in the park or whatever. I mean, those events are always more enjoyable because of the environment that you're in. So I completely get that. I also really enjoy drive-in cinema because
I've never been.
here in the States, we still have a few around. They actually opened some new ones in my part of the world because of the global crisis. They're sure they were counting on more things, but it seems like there's at least four of six screens going when I'm driving by in the evening. The one that's not too far away from me. I always
Mm.
think it's extraordinary. I always think it's a lot of fun. I think light pollution was one of the things that really caused that particular phenomena to disappear, but it's still remarkably entertaining to do. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for making it through 3 questions. We did that really quickly. So that's the first part of the show done in 25 minutes, even after a false start that we had earlier. So we've got an hour left. Let's
I've
jump.
got I've got more stories if you want it.
Oh no, this is great. No,
Well, I'm full of
we're
stories because I don't
uh,
get to share them that much because I don't really talk about like I don't really talk about the movie experience except for moments on the show that are related to the show. If you remember, we did a few of those on the Showgirls. I shared my personal experience about Showgirls
yeah.
because I couldn't watch it when it came out, only on VHS.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I've seen that movie in every format possible.
Yeah.
So I've seen it. I saw it in the theaters when it came out and flopped. I saw it everywhere. So I'm kind of weird. That one's kind of a weird movie for me, and I know that, but it's fine. All right, so we need to jump into the weird news. You ready?
Yeah, there's tons of it.
There's plenty. So let's jump into it. Here we go. Weird news. We actually go through 3 different, sometimes 5, but 3 different odd news stories of the day, and there were plenty in the last few days, but in particular, just in the last couple. Um, here in the United States, I'm going to set this up a little bit. We get really excited about Halloween, more so than most countries, right? I mean, Halloween's probably not very big where you are right now, is it?
Uh, in the last few years, it's kind of got stolen. You have to remember something. It's not really a Jewish thing. It's mostly an Israeli thing. Israelis really like to have a good time. We're living in such a like bleak area of the world, or at least the circumstances are a little bit bleak.
Right.
Every single time we have a chance to party, then we take it. So Halloween's been taken, New Year's Eve's been taken, Christmas has been taken, even though Christmas is rather big because there is a Christian
Yes, I know.
society here, right? Bethlehem,
Yeah.
Nazareth, all that stuff. However, the Jewish population also kind of celebrates it as a celebration thing. It's weird, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and this is actually true. Germany, they don't really do they don't do it like Americans do, so they're always fascinated. So, but interestingly enough, in your neck of the woods, I have another friend that's there, and he's like, "Well, we're decorating now." I'm like,
Yeah.
"That's cool." Yeah, so it's cool. I think it's amazing. So, all right, my friend. Well, the weird news of the day is we actually have like contests here
Oh,
when it
the
comes
big pumpkin, all that stuff.
when it comes to Halloween. So this story, there we go. A pumpkin weighing 2,471 pounds wins California contest. Isn't that amazing? They have to forklift these things in. It is
Nice.
like it is bonkers sauce, right? So anyway, Half Moon Bay, California, a Minnesota horticulture teacher remained the reigning
Do you want
champion
to put it on
Monday.
screen, culture?
Oh, was it? Oh, it's not on screen. Oh, sorry about that. Ah,
I
yeah. Here's the
mean,
pumpkin. Sorry about that.
it's up to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. No, I was like, hey, let me hide this from you. No, it's the pumpkin. The pumpkin weighing 2,471 pounds wins the contest. Now, a Minnesota horticulture teacher remained the reigning champion Monday of the annual pumpkin weighing contest in Northern California, where his massive gourds have won the top prize 4 years in a row. Travis Gen, Jenny Ginger, I'm going to say.
Geinger.
Oh, thank you. Of Anoka, Minnesota. Uh, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Beat his closest competitor by 6 pounds, 2.7 kilograms, to clinch the victory at the 51st World Champion Pumpkin Weigh Off in Half Moon Bay. So that's south of San Francisco. Isn't that amazing?
It's over a ton. So
Yeah.
1,000 kilograms is a ton. So it's over a ton.
Yeah, and now here's the weird thing, right? So these giant pumpkins, they all then go, they make a travel to Southern California, where then they are carved by 3D pumpkin artists. Isn't
Nice.
that crazy?
Nice. How many torches do you have to shove in there to make it light like a like a good old jack-o'-lantern kind of a thing?
Yeah, it's got to be amazing, right? With something that size, I mean, you could basically get in it. That's how big that is, right? That's a massive, massive
How many
pumpkin.
pumpkin pies will it make for
I,
Thanksgiving?
you got to ask yourself, are they even worth eating at that point? Are they just giant versions of something delicious or no?
Well,
I don't know.
you're the one that has the green thumb.
Mm.
My wife also has the green thumb. However, we
Oh,
don't have any land. The difference is we have a flat top roof, so it's not no so it's just flat. Okay,
uh,
on it I have beddings.
oh,
They're pretty high. They're about I would say a foot and a half
uh-huh.
ish. So it's pretty deep. We plant everything there.
Yep.
One of those in the cycle we planted sweet potatoes. Uh, but they were of the. Do you know the purple kind? The one that is like imported from Peru or something. It's
Okay.
really gnarly. It looks completely purple, but if you eat it, it tastes like a normal
Yeah.
sweet potato.
Yeah.
We planted that and it wouldn't grow for some reason. A year later, we see kind of sprouts coming in, and then we kind of, shove the little pitchfork in, and it's this big.
Wow.
Okay. The problem is when it gets really big,
Mhm.
it's really fibrous
Right.
because it's a sweet potato is
It's a
a
tuber. It's a
it's a
tuber.
tuber, but
Yeah.
it's like a root.
Yeah.
It's very, very fibrous and it's very bitter when it gets to the like major sizes. And
Mm.
she asked around and she got an answer. Yeah, if gourds or pumpkins or even watermelons, if they get too big, they get a little bit fibrous and or very bitter. So you get like a massive watermelon, but it's very bitter inside, not sweet.
Hmm. Yeah, I have to tell you, we grow our own potatoes, lots of them, and sweet potatoes as well. I love growing vegetables because they're so easy. And look, I mean, I get such a yield that really for half the year I do not have to buy potatoes.
That's really good.
So yeah,
That's
it's one of the things I always encourage people to do. And again with the greenhouses, I get an opportunity to maybe grow a couple of different cycles a year. So that's also wonderful. Speaking of wonderful, we've got another wonderful story. And again, Americans are weird. You probably realized that when you visited the States just a couple months ago. Americans are very strange. We're pretty
Oh
odd.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 I've got stories from America if you want to like weird
Uh,
stuff later. One of them
we
involving Kadish.
Oh yeah, Kadish is great. Love that guy. He's good, good friend. Anyway, we're gonna jump into this one. This one you're gonna love too. And so will the chat, I think. Like you said, we do some weird stuff, and once a year, an annual event takes place. Um, in Maine, of all places, which is one of our northmost, eastmost states, if not the northmost, eastmost state itself. And as I throw it into the chat, Mud, Beer, and Cash annual wife carrying championship attracts competitive couples to Maine. That's right.
Oh my god.
So the goal here is to carry your wife. It's held at a ski resort in Maine. It happened this last Saturday, the 12th. More than 30 couples competed in the North American Wife Carrying Championships, a 278-yard race during which contestants splash through water, leap over logs, and trudge through mud, all while carrying their partner like a sack of potatoes. There she is on this man's shoulders. Um,
By the way, that's the best way to carry a person that is not alive, but conscious.
incapacitated. Yeah.
Uh, uh, you could do it like on the shoulders, like
Fireman's carry.
military
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
That is actually the best way because it will allow you to actually run. It
Yeah.
won't interfere your balance.
Yeah. And the person that you're trying to, help, better hope you didn't have like beans or anything for lunch. Anyway.
Oh,
So, yeah, not great. So anyway, so these 30 couples did this. Now, the sports origin story isn't exactly politically correct. It's based on the 19th century Finnish legend involving a man known as Ronakainen the robber, whose gang was known to pillage villages and carry away the women, according to one of the explanations included on the website wifecarrying.org. This is a .org.
so it's just like Three Amigos. We rode off on the women and we raped the horses.
Yeah, you can't say that word on YouTube.
Great,
Yeah.
grapes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. On Saturday, competing couples didn't have to be married, nor did they have to be man and a woman. Oh boy. One contestant, the carrier, was dressed as Mr. Incredible, while his wife was dressed entirely in pink. They and others were cheered on heartily by crowds on both sides of the course at Sunday River Ski Resort. Most managed to navigate the grassy hillside, but a few stumbled in the mud, their female partners jumping off before they regrouped and kept going. Most of the participants use a technique in which the wife is carried like a backpack upside down. Again, makes sense.
Yeah,
The champ,
easier.
the champion leaves with the weight of the wife in beer and 5 times the wife's weight in cash. Wow,
As
that's a lot of cash.
a lot of beer.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of cash. Give me the cash.
Yeah.
Um, but to estimate the amount they win, the winning wife is put on one side of a seesaw, like a scale, that organizers balance out on the other side with cases of beer.
So if she weighs like a duck, then she's a witch.
I'm just saying, you just if you have a light wife, I mean, the weight of
Yeah.
there's less money is, I guess, the point. So,
Well,
uh,
it actually is very smart because the lighter the wife, the more chances you have to win. But the prize is a
Less.
lot smaller.
Yeah. What we need is a strong man to compete in this with somebody. I think that would be kind of fun. Anyway. All right. Well, I thought you would enjoy that one. I hope the chat did as well. Let's see if they did. Let's see what the chat thought. So, I could not get away with this. I would be in immediate trouble. I would be because the boss would not want to do this at all. Not, yeah.
I would not carry my wife like that. No.
Yeah, I mean, you're cruising for a bruising, because if you drop them in the mud,
Oh no.
yeah, it's a hot mess. You get in big trouble.
I've seen contests like that. I've seen it. It's not pretty. I mean, it doesn't look pretty, and when they fall, it's definitely not pretty. It's better than the tying the legs together.
Yeah,
It's better than that.
yeah. No, I like I said, it is what it is. Stark of Iron says, "Hey, Culture Casino, I breached 1100. Congratulations, my friend. Well done. You stream too late at night, my friend. I can't do that.
Welcome to the top 9% of YouTube.
Yeah, it's actually true. Actually true.
After we talked, I doubled. I don't remember if we talked about this on stream or off stream. It's true. I went back and the latest numbers are from 2023, July 2023, but they do it every few years only. So it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I think so. Keto Simple. We're more prime time right now. This show follows up Friday Night Tights, and then we send people to the Ascendant Art podcast when they're going to go live. So just kind of giving you a network vibe to what we do. Don't forget, tonight Loki is going to be live for Late Night Loki, which is morning time for this young fella up here. So do check out.
Join this time.
yeah. Check out Loki's Mornings of Mischief. It's always a good time. Yeah, I don't know. Wild Betty Yavin wants to catapult the pumpkin. You guys are on fire tonight.
I saw somebody say we'll trebuchet it.
Trebuchet, yeah, trebuchet would work. Yeah. The Wild Man of Yavin says, "Take the beer." Well, there you go. You guys are on fire tonight.
Well, it is Oktoberfest.
Well, it is. Yeah, we are knee deep in October. All right, we got one more weird story I want to get to, and this one's weird. Okay, so for whatever reason, I have been talking about robots an awful lot. Holy cow, the generosity slaps in the chat. It's the Wild Man of Yavin with $100 super duper culture $50 culture casino cash. 50.
Do you want me to give him some applause?
Yeah, play up. Do you have an applause? Oh,
yeah. I've got a full deck.
Oprah. Thank you. My goodness, Wild Man of Yavin with the generosity saying, towards your beard oil, much respect, my friend. Also, BBC News is good news despite a couple of journalists. Much love. Well, thank you. And thank you, and thank you, and thank you. Amazing, $50. My goodness. This is absolutely wild. I appreciate the support, my friend. Wow. And that's we just don't normally see that in this show. I appreciate it very much. Liberty Hall's Cats suggests we check out the Hobby Horse Championships. That's a sport I thought they were kidding about and then Googled. There you go. Oktoberfest ends on October 1. It's actually Septemberfest. Oh, well, there you go. That's weird.
It's a harvest festival. So mainly wheat and barley festival. So beer actually fits.
Yeah. It's how you get your beer. Is the Hefeweizen is the wheat, and the barley is the other aspect. So yeah, it takes three things to make a good beer. Wheat's an extra. What do you say to that?
Barley, hops, and a Czechoslovakian person. You're laughing, but some of the best beer in the world comes from a place called Pilsen.
Really?
It's a style of beer called Pilsner.
Pilsner, yeah, I know. I've made it many times. I've got lots of hops and such.
It's in the Czech Republic.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep.
All right. Well, holy cow!
Woof.
The Wild Man of Yavin is going wild with another 50. 50. Well, here's 50 more because you don't usually see it. Well, thank you, which you should. We won't agree on everything, but we agree on much. Yeah, I don't actually. That's myself and Robert Meyer Burnett live by that philosophy, and I don't agree on many things, but we agree. We agree enough. So, yeah, thank you very much. That's incredibly generous. You gonna draw out emotion from me. Much appreciated. Yeah, this show isn't usually driven by these types of super chats. Usually that's this late night Sunday show, which follows Valiant Renegade. So, but thank you, Wild Man of Yavin. Your support for all of my friends' channels and mine is greatly appreciated. I hope everybody thanks you accordingly because you are definitely a wild man right now. Oh, you don't know RMB, Robert Meyer Burnett? He is he's the guy that's responsible for many special features that you would find on DVDs and Blu-rays and such like that. A man who is also a filmmaker and right now doing, I believe, a production of a web series, if I'm not mistaken.
Noir web series that I'm very, very interested on listening to.
Yeah,
it seems very special.
Yeah. So if you get a chance to check out the Burr Network, my friend Lorena Creole is featured on his channel from time to time, and many of the other lovely ladies that have been in our fellowship. So you'll find people that you recognize there. Robert Meyer Burnett. And so, yeah, I think his channel is called the Burr Network.
The Burnett Network.
Burnett Network. There you go. Yep. Yep. Oh, thank you, Mephisto. Yeah, he's an incredible man. Brilliant. And the most informed person, and he likes to talk about verisimilitude, which he's one of the few people who actually understands that word and the concept that it embodies. So yeah, great man. All right, enough of that. We got to get to this weird robot that's bonker sauce. Are you ready for this one, Mephisto? Because I talked about robots on Sunday night to the extreme. Didn't think we'd be talking about robots on this show.
Is it Optimus?
No. This one's going to blow your mind. So, aquarium star whale shark shocks visitors because it turned out to be a robot.
Can I not have sharks with freaking laser beams?
Lasers.
Really?
This is real. So it was a whale of a fail. Just when you thought it was safe to go back to the park, water park, a Chinese aquarium was ripped by angry fans after its much hyped giant shark was revealed to be a robot. The deep fake occurred at the Xiaomisha SeaWorld.
It's Xiao.
Xiaomisha. SeaWorld in Shenzhen, which opened October 1, following a 5-year renovation, Jam Press reported. During its week-long dry run, the 645,000 square foot Ocean Zoo attracted 100,000 visitors who paid around $40 to enter the wet wonderland.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, by 3 o'clock, people were already demanding refunds, fumed one disillusioned visitor while ripping the robot shark pictured. Look at that thing. Looks real. Looks real enough, right?
I think the picture does it disserve it, maybe.
Look at this articulating fin here.
It's not good. It's backwards.
Visitors were not pleased. They were eager to check out the theme park star attraction. A whale shark, the world's largest fish, capable of attaining over 60 foot in length. However, many felt cheated after realizing that the so-called regal sea beast was actually just a mechanical doppelganger. Well, good use of words, whoever wrote this. Photos taken through the tank glass show the fishy robot, which sports obvious gaps in its torso where its segments have been connected, evoking a prop from a cheesy sci-fi channel shark movie.
They don't want to say Sharknado.
They don't, yeah. Outraged by the great white lie, parkgoers flooded Xiaomisha with a Sharknado, there it is, of criticism online.
Sharknado. Whoever wrote this was really good because he got the Sharknado reference and he got the Jaws reference too.
Yeah.
And Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Aquarium reps claimed they'd created the robotic whale shark to adhere to laws prohibiting the trade of genuine artifacts. So it's not an aquarium.
The question remains, since when do Chinese people care about restrictions on restricted animals? And Shenzhen is a pretty big city.
Yeah.
Who said it? 11 Alpha said it's immediately north of Hong Kong. I know it's a major city. It's not Shanghai level, but it's pretty big.
Yeah.
I guess big cities in China that you haven't heard of is like, oh yeah, that's like 10, 15 million.
Yeah.
And you're like, really that big? Yeah, there's 1 billion people.
There's a lot of people. Anyway, so the venue isn't large enough, and even the whale shark is artificial, griped one disillusioned whale shark watcher online. By 3 o'clock, people were already demanding refunds. The most disappointing part was the whale shark exhibit, wrote another on the social media platform, Xiao Hongshu. When I heard the name, I was full of anticipation, but when I arrived, I saw a mechanical whale shark. It's not interesting at all. Uh, Zhao Misha reps have since addressed the criticism, claiming that the robo shark, which cost millions of Chinese yuan to construct, was not devised to catfish visitors, but rather to adhere to laws banning the trade of whale sharks. This shark's tail didn't make the artificial fintelligence easier to swallow, however. My goodness. Even though it's for the sake of animal protection, I'd rather they didn't have one at all than show a fake one. Griped another. The same critic took issue with the park's live critter exhibits as well. The fish care was not professional enough. I noticed that some of the fish in the tanks had white spots. Oh, that's true. Ick is bad. Um, Most people wouldn't notice, but anyone who's kept tropical fish knows that's white spot disease. Some of the fish didn't appear to be in good health. Well, establishing an aquarium takes time, so there's a lot to deal with. Speaking of knockoffs, this is far from the first time someone has felt conned by Chinese zoo critters. Multiple animal parks in China came under fire earlier this year for spray painting dogs to look like pandas, which is another story we covered here on the channel during another one of these shows. So there's that. What do you
Where
think, Mephisto?
where's this story from? Like, what is the website
Oh,
or
this is New York Post.
New York Post?
Yeah.
Man, don't you miss the time where journalists knew how to write articles?
Oh, yeah, that's brilliant, right? They did a
That
really good job.
is, it's it's not smart. It's intelligent and whimsical about a story that is generally, you know, mundane, right? Nobody really cares about a mechanical shark in China. They barely care about mechanical sharks in the US. But
Yeah.
having written that story with enough wit
Mhm.
to sort of inlay those shark movies or shark references, that it just makes the story a lot more digestible. And
Oh,
that's
and entertaining, right? I mean, and real quickly, I just want to say goodnight to the wild man of Yavin, you generous, wonderful person, you. We appreciate it. So, my goodness, get good night's rest. A Chinese zoo also used dogs as lions. Yes, some of the stuff I've seen this year, especially with these Chinese zoos, is bonker sauce. It's just wild. Anyway, thank you for enduring that, Mephisto.
not enduring. It's fun.
Well, okay, good. Good. Man, it's just bonkers what we're seeing these days. Perpetration of fraud. I wish it would stop. But
It's so indicative about the Chinese that you get if you buy something from a well-known Chinese website and you're trying to save a buck, you realize, oh, it's like the same plastic mold, but done not so,
very poorly.
meticulously constructed. And you're like, yeah, I saved like $100 on this, but man, it broke down after a week.
Yeah.
So it's sort of indicative towards, you see the signs are there with anything that they do. They know how to construct stuff if they're told how to construct stuff. They will do it well. But if they are left on their own, it seems like they can't really replicate that sort of.
You end up with tofu drag, like in the construction industry over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we shuffled right through the odd stories. Let's jump into some other stories, like today's topics. Are you ready for that, my friend?
I am ready for that.
All right, here we go. Now, my friend, as you may know, I also run a gaming channel called That Game Place as kind of the companion to That Park Place, and we talk an awful lot about video games. You're tied into a lot of pop culture things. I'm not sure how extensive your gaming knowledge is, but some of these stories, and this one I picked out, there are two of these that I thought was kind of fascinating. Three in total, if you count the one in the middle, which we'll get to later, which is more political than it is gaming. But today's topics are I don't know, they're intriguing to me. Let's say so. We're going to jump into that right now. Apparently, Grand Theft Auto 5 has officially outstayed its welcome, according to Nikola Podstick over at Bounding Into Comics, turning a a crime sim into an art stage as Mubi gets Grand Theft Hamlet distribution rights. So apparently, this is a picture here of Grand Theft Hamlet. In a surprising artistic twist, Grand Theft Auto 5 has transformed from a crime driven simulator into a platform for creative expression and innovation. One such project is Grand Theft Hamlet, the documentary film that glues Shakespearean classic tragedy together with the virtual world of GTA Online. It was directed by Penny Grillis and Sam Crane and follows two actors as they try to stage Hamlet inside the game during the lockdown that we all experienced, the global crisis. Um, First of all, you like film and cinema, which is one of the other reasons I picked this out. What do you think of them trying to do this? Like literally use a gaming engine to do this
Well,
type of a project?
it's not really a gaming engine. Now, are you aware of GTA 5 online or GTA
Yeah,
5 in general? Okay.
yeah,
So GTA 5, mainly the online stuff, has been dominating for years and years and
yeah.
years.
Over a decade. Yeah,
And the reason why, because it takes the base game, turns it into a virtual meeting place, and people do lots of role play there. Lots
right.
and lots of role play. There was a time, I know you're not so much connected to Twitch, but there was a time around Twitch where the Twitch meta, have you ever heard of about that subject? Twitch meta?
No.
No. Okay. So Twitch meta, any meta, means a lot of the or all of the major players or major streamers on Twitch just stream a particular game because it becomes hot for a month and a half. So there was a time around 2020 or 2021 that the Twitch meta was everybody plays GTA 5. So some of them went criminals, some of them went cops, and they kept doing these role play games. Of course, XQC did his thing. You know, XQC is pretty wild. And he got banned like 5 or 6 times while doing the meta stuff. And the GTA 5 has always been ready to be custom made to whoever wants to play it. And the fact that it's custom made allowed people who are really into role playing games or really into role playing invent a whole story for themselves that is a living, breathing story that the participants of that story will, participate and invent them, like add it into the story. I don't know what these guys have done. I'm guessing that it's a full-on story that they've kind of invented and used the custom system of GTA 5 as a showcase to do their story. Now, remember, that whole system is built upon virtual cameras. So if you have two different viewpoints
Yes.
with two different virtual cameras, then you can make a full movie out of
Yes,
this.
you can.
If you're creative enough, if you storyboard it correctly, like any other movie, and set everything up with recording stuff, with everything, you can do a pretty good movie using a built-in system. the fact that they did it during the coof,
Mm-hmm.
it's not surprising. It's like people didn't have much to do. They were inside their homes. Okay, so if you're a creative person, then your juices get flowing. You think about stuff to entertain yourself. Bam, bam, boom. You get another person, get an idea going, and you just do it, right? You just create. What exactly did they? I've never heard about Project Hamlet.
Yeah, no, neither had I. But I thought this was kind of interesting because you and I both love cinema. And I'm thinking, what a great way to make a film. And you just broke it down as to how you would go about doing that, which I think is extraordinary.
Yeah,
So,
it's pretty simple. It relies on, remember, I think GTA 5 relies on the Unreal Engine.
probably, yeah.
Okay, so if it relies on the Unreal Engine, I've messed with it for about 20 minutes. It's super powerful, especially now that, first of all, it's free. You can download it yourself. You just have to have an Epic Games account.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can download it, and it's pretty powerful what you can do with it. Even if you're not creating any games, you can actually create movies using Unreal Engine. So this is not surprising that they were able to make a full-blown movie, regardless of what the content is, right? It really doesn't, it doesn't matter. But if they already took the assets from GTA 5, which are pretty available if you play the game, then yeah. It's technically possible. It seems like they've done it, so I just don't understand any backlash.
Oh no, excuse me. It's not Unreal Engine. This is it's Rockstar. It's Rockstar's own proprietary engine. It's the Rage engine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But regardless, you're correct. And I mean, the one thing that I know that I really enjoyed was the machinima that people made with Red versus Blue, which is up here on the screen right now. That was a world famous thing that basically launched Rooster Teeth, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, I love this idea, but you're 100% right. With Unreal Game Engine, you can literally do all these things if you have all these assets. So I love it, man. I think this is a great idea. Thought this would be fun for us to talk about. Well, let's see what the chat has to say, because I'm sure.
I'll add another thing. If you remove the GTA 5 out of this entire thing, I've seen people do not really movies, but sort of a video like Red versus Blue with World of Warcraft. They just went on a role-playing server and just played out, it was free enough to... most of the role-playing servers on World of Warcraft were, let's say, a little bit empty, or there's less traffic, so you could do a lot of these things in an open area without being killed by PvP players. So it's possible, even if you don't have the the system or the engine and all that stuff. It's just creativity.
Yeah, I think this is pretty amazing, and I like the idea that they're doing this. Gory-eyed beast. This is somebody took GTA 5 and basically created a film called Grand Theft Hamlet. And Mubi actually has the distribution rights for it, which is amazing. Again, we are on the cusp of being able to do amazing things with stuff like this. And if it weren't for, think about this: The Mandalorian and many other shows that Disney put together utilized in-camera, real-time effects and backgrounds that didn't exist in the volume. This is being done all the time in Unreal Engine 5. So anyway, I thought that would be a lot of fun. So
yeah, it's all about using the system and being creative. By the way, South Park, the World of Warcraft episode, the movements of the characters were straight out of the game. They didn't do anything that the game
couldn't do.
couldn't do. So when they were pointing or they were talking or dying, it was from the game. They just cut it out and put it somewhere else because they had to overlay, their own South Park thing.
Yeah. I love that. And again, machinima is an interesting, thing. So whoever the art director was for that episode, that was pretty creative.
R.I.P. Machinima, by the way.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into
the company Machinima was awful.
Well,
was awful.
All right. Well, let's jump into the next story, my friend. This one I think you'll be familiar with, and you'll be familiar with this woman's struggle, which was caused by a megacorp who is basically just a bunch of douches. I'm talking about Disney, and I'm talking about Gina Carano. That's right. Gina Carano gets another big win against Disney as court rejects Disney's attempt to block Discovery. That's right. She was able to, change things, let's say. I'm going to square this up a little more. So there's no way for this to get dismissed now unless they come up with something else that might catch the judge's attention. Discovery is going to be moving forward, and this case will happen in September of 2025. So what happened was Judge Sherilyn Pence Garnett rejected Disney's request to block Discovery as it appealed its failed motion to dismiss the Ninth Circuit Court. Carano shared the victory on X in writing. After the judge denied Disney's request to dismiss my case, Disney requested permission to immediately appeal the decision to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and delay all discovery while that appeal takes place. Yesterday, October 16th, we learned that the judge denied Disney's unusual request. I'm obviously very pleased with the opportunity to keep moving forward with the judicial process and into discovery. So apparently, while it kind of outwardly seemed like the judge said, "You're not going to go to the Ninth Circuit." This actually may not have said that. It just said, "You are still allowed to continue discovery." And she continued to say, "While I wish this was not necessary, as it is not my desire to be in this battle in court, I will not shrink away from it because it is hard or uncomfortable." And then concluded, "Again, a huge thanks to all of you who have shown me support daily, to my incredible lawyers, and to Elon Musk and the people at X for the opportunity in continuing this lawsuit and seeking justice." So yay, Gina. And you can go and grab this 10-page ruling. It's out there for all to see. And you can pick up the link for that in Gina Carano's Twitter. Or you can find it for yourself. It's in, I think, Scribd. But, she made it clear in the 10-page ruling that the stay of proceedings was denied. Yeah. So there you go.
I have mixed feelings about this lawsuit, right?
What are they?
I don't mind looking at this at the discovery because I don't particularly like Disney. I've never really have liked Disney ever in my life. But I'm not really sure what she can get out of them. I'm not really sure what is so she is suing for defamation.
All kinds of things, including back pay and other issues and sex or excuse me, gender discrimination.
Okay, so that I get. The defamation I don't get. Because defamation is really hard to prove, even without the whole the protection. I don't remember the name of the protection. Even without the protection, defamation is super hard to prove, especially because most of the defamation came from like low-level employees, if I remember, and not Disney themselves.
Well, even in their statement of non-renewal of her contract, they kind of defamed her, and it's going to be really easy to prove malice. with the Discovery moving forward.
The malice is the issue. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Discovery. That's why
Yeah.
I'm a bit apprehensive, not reprehensive,
Yeah.
apprehensive, because I look at it as sort of a lost cause. But all I want, all most of us want, is to see that discovery and what's really going on behind the scenes. Because if there is shenanigans going on behind the scenes, then definitely she should have sued for defamation. Now, we're not a privy to it,
No.
and she's really not in a position to go out on X or on anywhere else and kind of say, well, this guy said this thing in this email.
Yeah. Yeah, but let's just say that she may have been, may have received something that she was accidentally included in.
Yeah, so
And
we're not
so if that's
that's
the
what I'm
case, I mean,
we're not
that,
privy to everything.
yeah,
That's why I'm waiting for the discovery. Up till that particular point, I'm really I it sort of comes from my skepticism of not getting my hopes up,
oh yeah,
because this could be really, really big, like bigger than what you even think, or
oh yeah,
even Valiant, or all the
yeah.
legal mindset.
Well,
He's done a lot of extensive work about trying to figure out where she could, where are the angles in which she could attack, and he said much what you said, the fact that okay, there are some people who defamed her, and it
yeah.
is in emails, and we're not really privy to it, but the public stuff is borderline, and
I
borderline is really hard to prove.
Well, we'll see. And again, the judges allowed it, and there must be enough there for the judge not to have stopped it. Because normally, you're correct. We would have had the case dismissed based on those things, right? California has a very specific law that said that you cannot be, denied based on your political beliefs or any of the other beliefs. They put that in place to protect the communists after McCarthy.
Yep.
So, I mean, they created their own problem. This is going to be a problem. And, if Disney loses this case based on California law, they'll take it to the next level. And then Gina will take it to the next level after that, which is the Supreme Court. And if the Supreme Court takes the case up, then we'll figure it out real fast if the law in California is constitutional or not, which is also a question here. But we will have enough information because of Discovery of just how dirty Disney is on the inside, and that's what's worth it all the way to the wall. Anyway, I've got a couple of super chats I want to grab real quick. Mephisto, thank you for that. That was really well thought out.
I'm gonna.
You're fine. Go ahead.
I'll be right back.
I'll see you in a minute. Weatherman for 2 Culture Casino Cash says $2 for the working man. Thank you, Weatherman, and I'm glad to hear your niece is doing better. That is very good news, my friend, and thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. We got Gory Eyed Beast for $5 Canadian cash. Thank you for that. I've always wondered about this, about Discovery. What prevents Disney from simply purging their servers of all chats and emails about Gina beforehand? Well, there is a recorded record of all those transactions. If they do that, there's a record of them doing that. There is too much at stake for it, because if anybody can produce an email that has the email hash code that it doesn't appear anywhere in Disney's servers, they're in really big trouble. And like I said, you're talking about evidence tampering, felonies, and going to jail. That type of crime is often worse than the cash that they're going to have to cough up, or any of the other things, including the embarrassment of people like Kathleen Kennedy, the former assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland, and the people on the inside at the Lucasfilm Story Group. So they would be in a lot more trouble if they decided to, get rid of these things, even as, clandestinely and thoroughly as they possibly could. Because if at any point in time, which there's no doubt that this is possible, that these things could exist, and people have, corporate emails on their home computers all the time, If this is ever produced in any way that can show, a direct attachment or to Disney, somebody's going to jail. Disney would be exposed. The corporation would be in big trouble, and their reputation would be even worse than it is now. Not to mention the fact that the cash reward would be, outrageous. It's not. I'm just telling you, it would be a big problem. Yeah, Gina wants discovery. Yeah, she just wants the truth out, and so do I. Which is why I don't believe she's going to settle. Let discovery flow. Let the discovery flow through you, boy. Anyway, young Skywalker. Sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, Disney's hubris, so it's Iger's hubris may destroy them in the end, because it's all Iger.
I'm just you said they're going to go hard for discovery. You never know. There is a point where even Elon's lawyers are going to say, well, they offered us this big of an X.
Yeah.
It's like a day before discovery. Why don't we just take it and make it go away? And the X could be 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever it's worth for Iger to shut her up.
Yeah, except I'm going to tell you, she doesn't need the money.
Yeah. Elon doesn't need the money, and she doesn't need the money. So
doesn't need the money.
We'll see. That's why I was so apprehensive. It was like, yeah, defamation is a bit of a long shot, and then came all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and then I got the breakdown, and I said, okay.
Yeah, discrimination is really the biggest lever here that they can push on. The defamation's, one part of it. We'll see.
And the issue is she's not. Another issue for me is where can they attack Disney? Is she is she's not an employee. She's a contractor.
Contract player. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a contractor. So if they just don't renew her contract,
despite the fact that she had a project that was lined up and ready to go with Jon Favreau. See, these are the other problems. So if there's a letter of intent or anything else that's out there, which we're not privy to, as you keep pointing out.
Yeah, it's all about the discovery.
It's an implied contract. Yeah, and a lot of and that would be a common practice in the industry that could be highlighted. And so if you're looking for damages, those are financial damages.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a full-on contract. It's just even the intention. So like, okay, Gina, we haven't signed the contracts yet, but we're looking towards starting production at blah, 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 November of blah, 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 right?
And Disney's in another lawsuit that specifically right now that they're fighting that specifically talks about the fact that a person started work on their behalf based on the intent to move forward on a project. So that was an implied contract at that point. Again, I'm not an attorney, so I'm not going to speak to any of those things. I'll just talk broadly. If you're looking for a solution, if you're looking for a solution,
go to
legal mindset. Yeah, because Andrew can walk you through everything that they're exposed to. And believe me, he has. And as an attorney, I'm inclined to believe him. And I'm not necessarily question him, also considering that Ron Coldman has spoken about this as well. Again, I'm going to take the 3 or 4 legal minds that I've listened to on this particular issue and take their word for it. Because their legal opinions seem to be pretty accurate, in recent cases.
I think both of them have mentioned that the one thing that is on Gina's side is the fact that because it's in California, there are specific labor laws that govern the
Getting rid of somebody for a political opinion. Yeah.
no. It's not that specific spot. It's the fact that it's very toward the labor laws are in favor of the employee rather than the employer. Uh, Even when it comes to contract negotiations and different like, it's single contractor. It's a whole rigmarole of
Yeah.
what you are categorized as.
Yeah, I don't want to actually. Yeah, I don't want to get too far over our skis on that.
Yeah.
I just want to say that, like I said, I trust what our friend Legal Mindset has been saying. Now, believe it or not, we are come to the end of our show. We have 5 minutes left, and I want to leave that for you to promote yourself. So,
I thought we had 2 hours. Okay.
oh no, 90 minutes. 90 minutes. The next show up is Ascendant Art, and so, my friend, you need to plug yourself. Are you ready?
All right. Oh, small screen. Cool. This is not a butt plug. Sorry. This is a microphone extender. Very important to have this. Oh, if you need to go with your microphone very far. All right, cool. Enough shenanigans. Right, we have to go. Right. Mephisto's Movie Reviews is my channel. I can't hear anything because I muted this. Okay. Mephisto's Movie Reviews is my channel. Movie reviews throughout the week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If I don't have any issues releasing, usually it's pretty much set. And on the weekend, it is the Real McCoy podcast. It is 3 p.m. Eastern and 12 p.m. Pacific, and adjust to your time on the US. And it is 8 p.m. UK if you're living in the UK or Europe or whatever. We talk about movies. We pick a movie. At the end of every show, we do tell you what movie it is, or I do publish the upcoming show right around Wednesday, Thursday, so you can tell which movie it is and maybe get to watch it. And of course, be with us on the show as we break it down, because we do get into spoilers and everything that is around the movie and its creation and all that stuff as much as humanly possible. We play a few games with guests or without guests. It's just basically me and my really good and even best friend, Oh My Feelings. Just two dudes enjoying themselves talking about movies. Regardless of that, what we managed to do, and this is, I mentioned Mr. Kadish on the Salty Nerd podcast, we have managed to create some sort of a strip of entertainment for you guys that starts with the Salty Nerd podcast, moving on to our show. And from our show, I'm usually redirecting to Pop Culture Minefield. They start the show about an hour into mine, so I send you to them midway through. But Geary and Tom and Anima and Martin, all that stuff, they have a great show that you can watch. So you have a full-on strip for the afternoon, we'll call it, on a Saturday afternoon for you to watch, dealing with pop culture, movies, all that good stuff. And yeah, subscribe and watch and like and comment and all that stuff.
Well, I just want to say thank you for being here, Mephisto. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Coming up next is Ascendant Art Podcast. My friends will be streaming over there in 1 minute. So you'll be joining the stream, hopefully in progress or right as it's beginning to start. We appreciate all of you, and I hope you take very good care of yourself. Be sure to take care of yourself. Take care of others. And until next time, See ya.
We're
It
still
didn't.
live.
I know it didn't. It didn't quit. I don't know what it's doing.